Our guest this evening on The Artist's View is Tina Holmes. That's her alias. Her full name is Prudence Wright Holmes, and she has appeared in featured roles in the films Sister Act 1 and 2 with Whoopi Goldberg, Kingpin with Woody Harrelson, In Dreams with Annette Bening, My Own Love Song with Renee Zellweger, Afterlife with Liam Neeson, God's Pocket with Philip Seymour Hoffman, First Reformed with Ethan Hawke, The Ballad of Buster Scruggs with James Franco, Coen Brothers, Boardwalk Empire with Stevie Buscemi, and Orange is the New Black with Taylor Schilling. On Broadway, she appeared in Happy End with Meryl Streep, Lettuce and Lovage with Maggie Smith, and Inherit the Wind with George C. Scott, and The Light in the Piazza at Lincoln Center and on the national tour. She has appeared in numerous off-Broadway shows, including the original casts of Godspell and Sister Mary Ignatius Explains It All for You. She wrote the plays Call Me William, about the life of transgender author Willa Cather, Mrs. Lincoln's Dressmaker, Sister Girl, The Secrets of a Mockingbird, Hiding Anne Frank, Leave the Drama on Fire Island, Daddy Issues, Agatha Is Missing, Typhoid Mary, Duncan and Vanessa, and Beat Chick and Bexley. Oh,
Yes.
Bexley, was produced by New York Theater Workshop, and Beat Chick was also produced by the Workshop Theater. So, as many of you know, the format that we use for this program is that the artist will talk about their work. You are more than welcome to ask questions. Tina has suggested that she might appreciate having the questions at the end of her part of the presentation rather than throughout her presentation. And as you also know, we don't make any attempt at all to define what art is or how. We just encourage people in their creative process. So at this point, I'm going to happily ask Tina to take us along with her this evening and offer us a glimpse into what it is that she does, how she does it, and why.
Thank you, Mary Ellen. Well, it all began in my hometown, Bexley, Ohio, when I used to act in church plays. And I liked the whole, just the milieu of it all and just being another person. Because I didn't get along with my parents. They were conservative Republicans. And I was like a hippie, and they just wondered how they got me. And my mother was all about the right clothes and the right parties. And here I was shopping in thrift stores and humiliating her in front of her wealthy friends at the country club. So, I did march to a beat of a different drummer for sure. And so I went to drama school at Carnegie Mellon in Pittsburgh, where Ruthie's from. And, my radical ways continued. We didn't like our teachers because they were mean to us. So we went on strike, and we demanded all new teachers in the middle of the year.
Oh, wow.
And we got them. And I was really glad. It was like a student insurrection. And, I was really glad we did that, because the teachers we got were much better. And they were, taking their jobs more seriously and had something to teach us. So I came to New York, and I was part of the original cast of Godspell. And we had worked with the director in summer stock the summer before. And all of us swore we'd never work with him again because he was a drug addict. And I remember one day I came into the theater and his mother and grandmother were carrying his quaking body out on the stretcher. and I was like, where are you going? And he's like, you just direct your own shows. And so we tried to pull it together, but it was rough going. And that's why we swore we'd never, ever again work with him. But then, of course, he had this off-Broadway show. And so we had to give him another try. And again, he got into the drug scene and direct your own show. So we were all friends from college and we pulled it together. And it was very much improvised. There was no script. We were just acting out Bible stories, and the songs were all Episcopal hymns set to a rock beat. And so anyway, he was he died of a heart attack in the bathtub, a drug-induced heart attack at 36. And but it was an amazing first theater experience in New York. And I remember Jane Haynes came and we were giving out wine and little Triscuits or something at the intermission, like communion. And people were asking the guy who played Jesus for, advice on all kinds of personal problems. He's like, I'm an actor, what do I know? But he was the person who told me about Baba. His name was Steve Nathan. And I think he's still a Baba lover. Doesn't come to meetings. But a lot of us at Carnegie Mellon did come to Baba. So I was one of them. And I don't want to get off on that story too much, but I am grateful. And Steve later produced a show called Joan of Arcadia, which was about a girl who had like a modern day Joan of Arc. She was getting messages from God from the guy in the bookstore or the cafeteria anyway. So I came to New York with that show, and then I did some other shows and went on tour. I've been in a lot of Broadway shows, 4 of them, which is something because it's not that easy to get into a Broadway show. And I remember my first Broadway show. I don't know if I'm on speaker view or not, but anyway, my first Broadway show was, I don't know why it's, I should spotlight myself, right, Ruthie? Spotlight or pin myself.
Spotlight.
Well, how's that? That's better, right?
That's okay. I had you on speaker view anyway.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, I don't know who's still left here hearing this story, but my first Broadway show was with a young, it was called Happy End, and it was by Kurt Weill, and it was, the music was by Kurt Weill and Bertolt Brecht. It was kind of like a German version of Guys and Dolls, and it starred someone who'd never sung before named Shirley Knight, and she was having a lot of problems and tended to blame them on everybody else, and she was eventually fired. And so somebody in the cast said, well, I did this at Yale Drama School, and there was a girl who played the lead. Her name's Meryl Streep. Do you think I should ask her to do it? And so the director said, yeah. So Meryl came in, and Meryl was like a breath of fresh air because she had done the part before. And I think that the thing I remember about Meryl it was that she was the most confident person I've ever met. And she just had this natural self-assurance. someone looked at her astrological chart and said she was just here to be of service. She didn't have a lot of life lessons. But anyhow, she pulled the show together, and we were nominated for several Tonys. And she was asked to sing this song called Surabaya Johnny live at the Tonys, whereas all the other songs done at the Tonys were pre-tape. But she would have to sing it live at Radio City Music Hall. And she just looked at them and they said, will you do it? And she's like, no, I don't feel confident enough to do it. But she said it so confidently. I just remember that about her. It wasn't at all apologetic. She's like, no, I don't feel confident enough. Get somebody else. So yeah, so anyway, that was my first Broadway show. And then I did Inherit the Wind with George C. Scott, and Lettuce and Lovage with Maggie Smith. And then I did The Light in the Piazza for 2.5 years at Lincoln Center, and then on tour. And I've also done quite a few movies. And so my first movie was The Exorcist 2. And I played an agent of the devil. And I remember I looked pretty scruffy, and they like took some dirt off the street and rubbed it all over me. And I had this raggedy costume, and I went into this coffee shop for lunch, and they refused to serve me. They were like, Miss, step outside. So that was my first, but they actually cut me out of that. So then my next movie was Sister Act, the movie with Whoopi Goldberg and all the nuns. And I remember they told me to cut. Oh, this was it. They said, in 24 hours, could you please come in and sing a gospel song and a girl group number? Well, even the most experienced singers do not have these kind of songs in their repertoires. A girl group number. So I called my singing teacher, and I was like, help, 24 hours, I have to sing these songs. And so we came up with this song, Amen, which was just one word. And amen, 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 amen. And I had these little finger cymbals. And I was dancing around and singing amen. And then I knew this song, Stupid Cupid. So we worked on that, and you know, I got the job. What can I say? It was a dream come true. And a lot of the other older nuns were has-been Broadway stars, and it wasn't like the most, what shall we say, congenial set, because they were all trying to get their face in the camera. And Rosalie actually came to the set when we were in LA, and you know, it was, and then we went to San Francisco and Reno, and so we did a lot. I was in the whole movie, and I have to say I'm very grateful because I'm still getting residuals. And so for those of you who haven't seen it, I'll do a little screen share. Let's see. Oh boy. I'm playing these from my website. Let's see. I know it's on here somewhere. Kingpin. Ah, yes. Be patient. Sorry, I'm trying to make it up full screen, but it's not cooperating. Okay, there we go.
Nothing you could do, 'cause I'm stuck like glue to my God. I gave my God my word of honor to be faithful.
Okay, well, that was a brief clip. And then we were called back to do Sister Act 2. And they had some old script lying around, and they had to pay Whoopi several $1 million. So they thought, well, we'll just rework it and we'll make it about priests. And then the musical director said, yeah, but it's called Sister Act. You can't cut the nuns out. So they put us back, thank God. And we didn't have as much time on that movie as the other one, but they're still both very popular. And I do get residuals. And then let's see. Oh, I've been on some soap operas. I've been on a lot of things. I'm trying to think what the next thing was. I'm sorry, I have these technical difficulties. Okay, so this is a movie I did with Woody Harrelson called Kingpin, and I'm going to play it for you. It's about this Amish kid who wants to become a bowling champion.
And not on screen share though.
Oh, I'm not on screen share?
Yeah, honey.
Oh, hold on. Yeah, hold on. Okay. I guess it's good to. Okay, we're gonna do this one now. So this one is Kingpin.
And the foreclosure.
That's all been taken care of by Brother Roy and Sister Claudia.
They put $500,000 in the bank.
Troubles are over.
Oh, you guys!
So that oh boy.
Foreclosure.
That's all been taken care of by Brother Roy and Sister.
That's a Farrelly Brothers movie, and they're just great guys. I really like them. I remember, this is a funny story. Woody Harrelson is a real health food freak, and so we had all this organic food and special fish flown in from, some remote location. And he was just very, very particular about the food. And of course, all the crew were complaining. They just wanted their meat and potatoes. So one day we were sitting at the table and, we were filming a scene at the dinner table. And there was these baking powder biscuits on the table. And so Woody turned to me, he's like, oh, these are good. What's in these? And I said, I don't know, baking powder, white flour. And he freaked out. He's like, he spit the whole thing right out onto the table. He's like, they're trying to kill me. They're trying to kill me. I have in my contract no white flour. And he ran off the set. And so Peter Farrelly, who had gone to college with Woody, he knew what it was like. And he's like, we're going to take a lunch break now. And so after lunch, Woody came back and he said, I'm an asshole. I would like to apologize to everyone on this set. I just had it in my contract and I didn't know I was eating white flour. I haven't eaten white flour in 20 years. And I'm so sorry if I upset anybody, which I thought was really nice. And, he didn't have to do that. I don't know what Peter said to him, but he was a really nice guy, and I enjoyed working with him. So another movie I did was is called My Own Love Song with Renee Zellweger. So let's see if I can find it. Oh, this is it. Am I screen sharing?
Yes.
Okay.
Got a cigarette?
No.
Got a smile? Just a smile. I'm Carol. My husband, Jim. And Bush, the dog. You from around here?
No, I'm traveling.
Us too.
We're headed for Iowa. You want to come along?
I had that flower in the palm of my
You
hand.
seem sad.
The petals and the glass are
Jim,
mixed together.
play her a song.
So I'm just trying to get back to y'all. I can't find y'all now. I guess I have to stop share. There you go. Yeah, I know that they made me look pretty bad. They blacked out my teeth. And one funny thing was the writer of this movie was Al Gore's daughter. I think her name was Kristen. And so it wasn't lost on us that she named the dog Bush. So anyway, I just I've done, another movie I did was God's Pocket, which was one of the last movies that Philip Seymour Hoffman did. He played a mafia guy of all people. I mean, if there's anybody who's unlike a mafia guy, it's Philip Seymour Hoffman. But when you're a star, you're right for everything, right? So I played this like barfly, and I remember there was an extra on the set, and I was very glad she wasn't in Screen Actors Guild because she was my character. She had no teeth, and she was very under the influence, shall we say. I'll show you a clip from it. Let's see. Or maybe I won't. Let's see. There it is. Yes.
We're collecting for the funeral.
Leon's gonna cost me more dead than alive.
He was always a nice youngster. Tell Jeannie that for me.
For Christ's sakes, Eleanor, you didn't even know him.
That's a damnable lie. I know all our youngsters. He was nice back then, Mickey. He never broke into nobody's house in the night.
Eleanor! Are you gonna sit down or are you gonna pour out your drink? I mean it today. I'm cutting you off.
Yeah, well, you can't cut off the truth.
Yeah, it was right after that unfortunately we lost Philip Seymour Hoffman to a heroin overdose. but he was a very sweet guy. It's so sad because he was a very talented actor. And I remember once we were all sitting around this funeral home where had this scene where we were burying his stepson and the funeral and everything. And he came in and he just looked around and he said really loud, "I'm the fattest person in this room." And it was just so full of self-hatred that I was like, you won an Oscar and that's what you think of yourself. I just touched my heart. It was really heartbreaking because, he had been having addictions, I guess, in his youth. And then he was clean for a long time, but then got into heroin and the rest is history. So then what happened was, you could see the kinds of parts I played, and they weren't exactly the kind of parts I wanted to play. And so what can I say? Alcoholics, homeless people, this is not really something I wanted to do. So, but, when you get to be a certain age and you're not the glamorous type, well, even if you are the glamorous type, they relegate you to those kinds of roles. So this friend of mine, she was telling me that she started writing these plays, and she wrote a play about, oh, Ruthie, your cat. She wrote a play called Tea for Three, and it was like a psychological study of the three first ladies, Pat Nixon, Betty Ford, and Lady Bird Johnson. And it wasn't just some piece of fluff, it went deep. And so she said to me, if you want to play the kind of roles you'd like to play, I suggest you write your own material. So my first one-person show, I wrote about my family. It was called Bexley O. And, as I said, my parents were conservative Republicans and they were extreme right-wingers. And, they said Baba ran out of good matches for children in the baby boom generation, children and parents. So he just randomly drop people into families. I don't know if that's true, but it certainly seems like it in my case, and maybe some other people's cases too. But I will show you a clip from a little bit of Bexley, if I can get out of here. This is the problem I face. I cannot get this out. There we go.
You forgot to screen share. You need to screen share, honey.
Yeah, I know. I'm just trying to get the right place.
Oh, good. You're doing great.
Okay. Thank you, Ruthie. This is all on my, this is, yeah, that's me growing up. Okay. So this is, okay, I'm gonna screen share, and you see that?
Yes.
Okay.
Page, there's a picture of a hacked up dead body.
Let's go back.
Mom, lock the doors. There's a killer on the loose. My father rushes into the living room waving a newspaper. Wife of this rich doctor up near Cleveland was murdered last night. Everyone thinks the husband did her in. No sign of forced entry, no murder weapon found, and the drinking, he tells me it'll kill you more surely than a pistol shot. And he always drives his Eldorado Cadillac 5 miles under the speed limit.
Well, I don't want to play the whole thing, but you get the idea. So that was my first one-person show. And then somebody said, well, you know, nobody wants to see your story. Although it did very well, and I got some good reviews at this theater where I did it, but it was very difficult for me to relive these unhappy golden years with my parents because we, as I said, didn't get along. So somebody said, well, you know, I had gone to these conferences where people would try to do one-person shows for different presenters at theaters across the country. And there was this one guy who he didn't do any excerpt from his show. He just walked around as Abraham Lincoln with a big stovepipe hat, and he had a beard. And he got more bookings than anybody who, you know, rented the space and did excerpts from their shows. So I thought, oh, well, that's what I'll do. I can do Abraham Lincoln, of course, but so I thought, well, my son was reading a book by Willa Cather in school. And I thought, well, I'll do that. But so I do have a little excerpt from that one. If I can get out of this website. See, it doesn't want to. We could just watch this one if I can't get out of it. There we go. So let's see, where was I? Oh yeah. This is Willa Cather, and she was transgender. And, you know, I got so much flack about that I just, am I screen sharing now, Ruthie?
Not yet.
Okay. I'm going to screen share. I feel like, okay. So here's the promo video for that one.
In 1912, I write my first novel, Alexander's Bridge. I hope it's as good as anything Henry James has written. And although the New York Times praises its brilliant conversations, I know there's something wrong. I make up my mind to write from my own experience. A heroine who'll speak to and for young women like me, not some socialite like Henry James writes about, but a common girl of the prairie. No one's written a story like that before. Call me William, or Willie, or Bill, or even Dr. William Cather. Willa, what have you done to your hair? I cut it off so I wouldn't have to be a girl, Ma. No one listens to them. You can't behave like this. Why the heck not? Watch your language. It is not ladylike. Who wants to be a lady? Willa, you try my patience. I don't want folks to think I approve of your ways. Just walk a few steps behind me when we go downtown.
Oh, I forgot to step.
1906, Moore's Magazine.
Okay. So that was my first one, but actually I got so much pushback about the transsexual thing that I just got really tired of dealing with it. And you know, I just I kind of had to put it on the back burner, although I think it's a great show and I really admire her for her bravery and, assuming a male identity in Nebraska in the 1890s until she was almost expelled from college for her relationship with another woman. But, a lot of the presenters are very conservative. They didn't want to hear about it. So then I decided, well, who's really well known? And so I thought about Harper Lee. And here's a little clip from my Harper Lee show. Let's see. Now I lost my website. Let's see. Not that one. Oh. Not that one. I'm going to find it, you guys. I must have closed it out.
We're in no hurry.
Okay.
Hey, that could be a title for a new play. Hey, I lost my website.
Okay, well, I didn't talk to you about this last movie I did with the Coen Brothers. And this was a really great experience. We went out to Santa Fe, New Mexico, and they had built this Western town and, no expense was, they're really pros. And for those of you who haven't seen it, I'll give you a clip of it right now.
I've never heard such a cough, and this cough did not respond to any kind of syrup or elixir.
It was not a contagious cough. Nobody here became ill. It was a nervous cough. I would not rent to a contagious cougher.
I've never heard of a nervous cough. I understand that you are about to leave us.
The nervous system spreads its tendrils throughout the body. I saw a picture of it in a book.
The nervous system does not have tendrils.
I don't pretend to be a physician or a botanist, but I know the nervous system extends through the body, and I presume that is how it learns of the various physical conditions that it imitates.
Mrs. Flannery is quite right. I've seen that picture.
My point is only that Mr. Kincaid was not a contagious cougher. I don't rent to such.
Is there any more chicken and dumplings? The bowl came to me last.
Yes, there's more. We don't stint at this table. Grandma Turner looks to be finished. Are you finished, Grandma Turner? Grandma Turner's finished. And we are going to miss you so very much, Miss Longabow. You and Mr. Longabow both. And of course, Mr. Longabow's dog, little President Pierce, bless him. Where is he now?
Okay. So as I was saying, I did, my next one was Harper Lee, my next one-person show. I just did want to show you that film clip because that was a very exciting and wonderful experience. And I've dreamed of working with the Coen Brothers for years and years. In fact, once I found out where their office was and I went and I knocked on their door, and I expected some secretary to answer the door, but actually Ethan Coen answered the door. So I said, could I be in one of your movies? Here's my picture and resume. And I reminded him of that 30 years later when he actually hired me, but he didn't remember. So I'll show you a few of my other shows that I do. Oh gosh, well, I say that I'll show you, but get out of this website. Now I'm going to, let's see. Okay, well, I keep on losing my website, but I'm gonna get it back. Okay.
Tina, I'm going to break your rule. when did you encounter the opposition to the Willa Cather play? What era?
Oh, well, it was only about 5 years ago that someone canceled my show when they found out Willa Cather was gay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was pretty shocking. And I just got tired of the homophobia. I mean, it was just, anyway, here's Harper Lee. And this is a show I wrote after I read her new book about her father being a racist. I'll give you a little bit of this.
Growing up in the small town of Monroeville, Alabama in the Depression, there
Why
were
it's
two
not playing.
important people in my life. My father, a massive
Sorry,
old
I'm
man,
having a
better
little.
known as AC. He was a lawyer, a state senator, and a newspaper editor. Once I asked him,
I'm sorry, I don't know why it's not playing.
why don't some people like
Well, the audio is playing.
I know, I don't know why it's not playing.
they don't know any better?
I'll skip over that. And I'll go to the one that I did at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, which is called Agatha Is Missing. Let's see, I gotta go back. This is an interactive murder mystery.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Detective Miss Clarissa Marbles. I have been sent here to the Berkshire Town Hall by Scotland Yard to investigate the strange and mysterious disappearance of the well-known mystery writer Agatha Christie. No one leaves this room. A pall of suspicion has been cast over all of you. Should anyone attempt to make a break for it, I warn you, there is an armed bobby just outside that door who will give you a sound thrashing with his nightstick. You look like you might enjoy that, sir. Don't try anything, it will be painful. Now then, I must look around to see if there are any suspicious persons. You, madam, you look like you're hiding something. Come on, out with it. Confession is good for the soul.
Hiding nothing.
I don't believe you.
Okay, so the audience are all suspects in that one. And then I did the hiding Anne Frank after I went to the, thank you, Marge. Thank you. I went to the Anne Frank house in Amsterdam and I found out about Miep, the woman who saved the Franks for 2 years by bringing them food. And I'm going to get this out of here. I don't know why I'm having these problems. But anyway, yes. I'll show you one more and then we can do some questions. It's just a little bit about, I don't know, won't close. Or maybe that's the last one. I don't know why it won't close, but it won't close. There we go. Yes, yes, very good, yay. Avatar Meher Baba Ki Jai. I just wanted to show you this one other one, which is Hiding Anne Frank. Okay, now I'm going to do the screen share. And
Members of the Academy, thank you so much for this great honor. I could never have imagined that at the advanced age of 100 years, I would be standing in front of you, accepting an Academy Award for the movie based on my book, Remembering Anne Frank. I am not a hero for helping the Franks. They were the true heroes for all they endured, and with so much bravery. In 1933, I went to downtown Amsterdam to apply for a secretarial job with a firm that made pectin for jam. I was 24 years old. As I sat in the waiting room, a tall thin man in his 40s entered. Good morning, I'm Otto Frank. Can you make jam? One day, Mr. Frank's wife Edith came to the office, accompanied by her 4-year-old daughter Anne. Anne was fascinated with my typewriter. Oh, Meep, how does it work? One day, Mr. Frank called me into his office and asked me to sit down. Meep, it's not safe for Jews in Holland. My family and I have decided to go into hiding. I hate to ask you this, but would you be willing to care for us? Tell me what you want me to do. Okay, well, we'll stop there. Well, maybe we won't stop. Now we'll stop. So I want to thank you all so much for coming. And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
I have a question.
Yes.
Where does the name Tina come from, or where does the name Prudence come from?
My parents named me Prudence because it was after some ancestor of theirs who saved the town of Pepperell, Massachusetts from the British in the Revolutionary War. And my grandmother had her spoons, and she said to my mother, if she'd give me that name, that she'd give her the spoons. And my mother thought they were worth millions. And so she stuck me with that name. But I just endured years of teasing and people making fun of me, not knowing if I was a man or a woman. So when I was 7, I had this record called Tina the Ballerina. And I changed my name to Tina, and I stood up in 2nd grade and I said, anyone who calls me Prudence, I'm not going to answer them. And that went for my parents too. And I stuck to it. Anybody else?
Hi, Tina.
Hi.
I have a question about Bexley O. How did that name come about? And what does?
That's my hometown, Bexley, Ohio.
Okay. And how old were you when you performed in that movie?
That was a play. That was about 17 years ago now.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Thanks for sharing all these wonderful clips. We enjoy.
I'm glad. You can always go to my website. It's prudencewrightholmes.com. If you have more, time to look at them. I only showed you brief excerpts.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Anybody else have a question or a comment? Elizabeth?
Yeah, Tina, did you already talk about your theatrical training and
Oh,
what
well,
you
I went,
did?
yeah, I did. I think you came
I
a little
missed
late.
it. Okay,
Yeah,
sorry.
I went to Carnegie Mellon Drama Department where I was part of an insurrection to throw out all our teachers.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Carnegie Mellon is a very prestigious place to go, by the way. For those who don't know, it's an incredibly good school.
Yes. And
I was a talent agent. I was a talent agent in New York, in fact, at the agency where Tina is now. And Carnegie Mellon students were right up there with Yale rep students.
Yeah, well, it's only as good as whoever's teaching there. And, you know, these teachers were not very good. And so we threw them out.
What did you get to replace them?
Better teachers. There was this one teacher named Ward Baker, and he had directed the Fantastics off Broadway. And but he never taught before. So he would put on this record, I'll never forget it, every class, it was the other side of the tracks. And he would say, just move to it. And then he would walk over to the student union and have a cup of coffee with some friends of his. And that was it.
Oh, that's horrible. Wow.
Yeah, so
So what are your plans for theater in the future?
Well,
acting, I should say, just for whatever acting you're going to do.
Well, I'm writing a play, one-person show about Louisa May Alcott because, you know, her family was nothing like Little Women. Her father was a hippie radical. She grew up in a commune that was a stop on the Underground Railroad. And the other residents of that commune had been freed from a mental hospital. And one of them had Tourette's syndrome and cursed her out constantly. And the other one walked around nude. I mean, it was wild. Yeah. Her father was a big problem.
Wow.
Well, even in the movie, her father was a problem. It was her mother who had the common sense.
Yeah, the mother tried to keep things together. The father never worked. But once Louisa wrote Little Women, he tried to hitch his wagon to a star and go on the lecture circuit with her. And he had written a book called Tablets, which was each chapter was an astrological sign. He was into all that. And so he tried to go along with her on her lecture and give little talks about his book too.
Wow. What was the time frame when she lived, the 1800s?
Yeah, she was born in 1832 and she died in 1888.
Oh, she didn't live very long, 50 years.
No, she got mercury poisoning from nursing the soldiers in the Civil War, and it caused her lifelong problems. That's how they treated, she got typhoid fever and they treated it with mercury. And yeah, so it was.
Isn't that also the same time they started using mercury in the fillings?
I don't know when they started that, but you could be right about that.
And they're still using it too.
Oh yeah, well, some people have it taken out that they don't like it in their mouth, but it's never bothered me. So, but I know some people it does.
Diana's been real patient.
Diana, you have a question?
Yeah, Tina, you said something about when you heard about Baba from people from someone who was a classmate when you were at school, and that there were other people who came to Baba from that time.
Right.
Is there a contingent of Baba lovers that you're part of from that school, people?
Well, there was George Gerdes, who recently died, and Jeff Milet, who died a long time ago, and Steve Nathan. I don't know. There were quite a few of us.
So you were classmates with these people?
Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
Okay, Sally, thanks for coming. Anybody else have a question or a comment?
Just
Yeah,
think it's
are you
fabulous.
gonna put your Typhoid Mary up there?
Well, I could, but you already saw that, didn't you?
Well, I did, but I don't know if other people have, and on your website, it's a great piece.
Yeah, thank you, Diane. I have to have my webmaster put it on my website. And I have to get a website for that. All my shows have their own websites. So that's kind of kept me going in the pandemic, streaming these recorded versions of it.
Do you get royalties from them, Tina, when someone watches them, or how does that work?
Well, they pay me.
Oh, that's nice. And that's
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
don't you have a one woman producer that you work with?
Well, I have a director I work with.
The director, that's right. That's right.
Danielle, yeah, she's a friend of mine.
Yeah. And did she go to Carnegie Mellon with you, or did you meet her later?
No, I met her later in a writers group.
Uh-huh. I can't remember if I've seen Typhoid Mary. I've watched all the clips that are on your website. I think I've watched all of them a few months ago.
I didn't put that one on there yet, but I will.
I had typhoid.
You did? Where? India?
No, in Mexico, when I was doing my dissertation, it was the year I had to finish, because it would have been 10 years, and you can't go longer than 10 years. I was at this was the 9th year, and I was there for 6 weeks, and in the 3rd week I got typhoid, but I thought I just had Montezuma's revenge. So I was given these pills that I took for, I don't know, a week or 10 days. And I thought, I'm well. I've had this big dinner and it was the last pill. And I went to the loo and the bottom of my stomach fell out. So I was in Matamoros. I had come from Hermosillo. I was in Matamoros. So my dissertation was on the automotive industry. So I was going to all these automotive plants all over Mexico. So I called the doctor, and General Motors, it was the General Motors doctor. It was also the hotel doctor. He told me to go get tested for typhoid. And I said, I can't have typhoid. I had the shot and it's only 2 years old and it's good for 3 years. He said, no, there are 70 plus types of typhoid.
Oh, wow. Well, Typhoid Mary was born with typhoid, but she never had any symptoms. She got it from her mother in utero.
Yeah. Well, it's a nasty little thing. And
I'm sure it is.
In Mexico, they know how to test for it, but not in the United States. I mean, when I got back, I went to this well-known doctor who deals with tropical diseases, and he said he couldn't test for it because if I had taken medication, all the bacteria would have been dead. So he wouldn't. But I had 3 types. I had typhoidea, paratyphoidea A, and paratyphoidea B. I was sick as a dog. Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that, but I've never had it, thank God. But she never had it either. But they quarantined her on an island because she kept on working as a cook and infecting people.
Yeah, she didn't have another way to support herself. I mean, it was a bad situation.
Yeah, yeah. So anybody else have a question or a comment?
Tina, this was absolutely delightful. I really appreciate so much your coming and sharing this with us. I just totally enjoyed it.
I'm so glad.
It was wonderful.
I love what I do and I want to keep doing it. And just like the pandemic's getting in my way. But
getting in a lot of our ways.
Yeah, but luckily I've been streaming my recorded shows for women's clubs and libraries, and it's something. So, but it's not like doing it live. It's not the same.
No, it's not. But I think it's helped all of us in so many ways that we never could have imagined. Just being able to not have a sense of time and space and be together.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, it is like being in India in a way. And I've made so many great new friends and,
Yep.
you know, it has had a positive, definitely, but
New audience
know.
for you, Tina.
What?
It's a new audience for you.
Very much, Ruthie. You're very right.
You
I
know,
think that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I just want to keep doing it as long as I'm physically able. And
Well, Tina, you mentioned to me a couple of months ago that you were interested in sharing some films that you've done, and I had no idea what you were talking about. Going, you know,
Yeah.
does this woman produce films or what? And so fortunately, in connecting more on another level, we were able to bring this to even more people tonight. So what a great opportunity.
thank you so much, Mary Ellen, and thank you everybody for coming.
I
And
want to give you a standing ovation.
Yeah, you're so talented, Tina.
Thank you, thank you.
The kitty stood too.
Yeah, even my cats applauding.
Oh, the cat's applauding. I'll turn off the recording now.
Adventure.